Hi everyone, I am Fanimita Arafah, and this video is part of my midterm text for Introduction to Literature, and I choose to explore Old English period. Okay, so first of all, there is something very humbling about trying to find the beginning of something. Like, if you want to understand the present first, you must listen to the last, especially something as massive as the English language. We speak in it, we think in it, we text in it, and we even argue in it. But where did it actually begin? So, before we talk about the authors or genres, we have to picture the word itself. So, let's pause here. First, we need context because stories don't come from nowhere, right? Okay, but wait, right now I want you to imagine a world without books. Yes, I want you to imagine it right now. No libraries, no novels, not even a name of literature. Can you imagine that? Okay, let's go. Let's go because I want you to take you on a quiet journey with me, not into fiction, but into the very roots of English literature. So, yes, today we enter the world of Old English literature, or what some call the Anglo-Saxon era, from about 450 to 1066 AD. And that's where the story goes. English literature didn't start. It never started with Jane Austen or William Shakespeare, but we are young earlier, way earlier. Okay, so let's talk about where it came from, what it was made of, and what it still teaches us until right now. Okay. Okay, Old English period, it happened between 450 until 1066 AD. It was also known as the era of the language of Beowulf and the era of King Alfred the Great. Before we go through the details, we must note that 3,000 years back, the drug called Celts come to an island and found England. There's also to one who gave the name Britain. They had their language called Celtics, which was spoken in Wales and Scotland. At that time, the Old English language were influenced by Celtic language, such as Celtic, Norse, Latin, German, with many inflection cases and genre as the main characteristic. Now, let's go through the history of Old English begin. Beginning 55 before Christ, it was a time for the Roman invasion. The important thing that happened during this period was that Roman brought Christianity to Britain in a context of Christian worship was celebrated within Roman Empire. When fifth, when 450 AD, the time for the German immigration. The important thing was English language had its start in 499 during the German invasion. Germany came with four tribes: the Anglos, the Saxons, Jutes, and Frisian. Those tribes had influence for the growth of English language. The Old English language acknowledged to be the same with modern German language, especially Frisian, which was spoken in North German. The 6th century, it was a period of Christianization under missionary because there are two important people what Georgi The first and Saint Augustine, what Gregory sent a mission under the Saint Augustine, and it was a tune when northern England was being converted by missionaries from Ireland. The 8th until 11th century, it was a time for the Scandinavian tribe or the Viking invasion. It was happened between 793 AD until 1066, and King Alfred saved England from the Viking. Because of this infection, British people start to speak in owners, and the owners gave 2,000 words to the English vocabulary. Three of the examples are egg, gun, and knife. Now we come to the end of Old English period. It was the time of the Norman invasion, and France became the only country that rules England for more than 200 years. It led to 29% of the English vocabulary where it came from French, such as with, justice, and people. Genre of Old English back then were of book because they didn't have time for fiction in the modern sense. So in this period, literature wasn't something you read, but it was something you heard with your ears. And about the genre, the main genre was poetry. But don't imagine roses or and love letters. No, don't imagine that. Because it has some very unique features. Also, they had this cool thing called oral tradition. Oral poets had traveled from village to village, carrying stories like treasure chests in their minds. First, it had a lot of alliteration, so it's like repeating the same sound at the beginning of words. The second one is gesture, a pause in the middle of line for rhythm, and the third one is repetition. It so help about memorization and emotion, plus a strong four-beat rhythm, almost like the beat of marching of rowing. So yes, it wasn't just art; it was identity poetry. People poetry told people who they were because when your life depends on gods, king, and monster, that's what you write about. If I should picture it, maybe part two of us, like Instagram of that time. And the next one is the themes of Old English period. About the themes, of course, they were not invented, they were discovered. They didn't ask what makes a good story. Instead, they just asked what do we do in the face of that? And the answer was always some from of this we tell something that's the only answer. Okay, so a lot of Old English literature focus on fate or what they call weird. So yes, people believed their destiny was already set and even heroes couldn't escape it. At the same time, Christianity started spreading throughout England, so in many stories you will see a mix of pagan values like honor and bravery and Christian values like faith and humility, because when nothing is certain, sometimes belief is all you have. So, yes, thematically, Old English works and body body culture on the knife edge between pagan fatalism and Christian morality, and some of the most common themes were admiration of heroic warriors who risked everything, religious teaching and moral lesson, and mix of pagan and Christian belief. It shows a society going through a major change both spirituality and culturally. Author of the Old English major work is Beowulf. If one text defines this era, it's Beowulf. You might have heard it describe it as heroic monster slaying tale, but that's like saying The Godfather is about family dinner, because more than that, Beowulf and Anonymous epic are written by no-known author, preserved by Christian scribe, yet deeply rooted in pre-Christian values. So, Beowulf is not just a man, he has a symbol of strength, of legacy. He battles three beasts. Imagine that: Grendel, the monster of chaos; Grendel, mother; Figen's incarnate; and a dragon, the ultimately ends him. Each enemy is more than each enemy is more than just a foe. They represent existential challenge, the threat to order at the cost of passion, the reality of morality. So yes, Beowulf wins, but he dies. That is the price of greatness in this world. Few, there is no immortality, one only legacy, based on sheer story. So, structurally, people fuses pagan heroism with Christian allegory. It admires strength, yet mourns its passing. It speaks of fame, but also if of divine will. It's about epic annual celebration of occasion. So yes, in fact, he wins historical life forever. But art is a core. Beowulf is about the doing everything right and still dying anyway. But Beowulf was not alone. Other figures rose in this time of transition. One of them is the Venerable Bede. Among among a historian, a writer, his history of the English people was in poetry, but prose with purpose, so it gave a structure to the chaos. It broke order the myth. And then there is the Exeter book of full all English poems and riddles, and based on not as performance but as your reflection together. These works capture the range of the period from heroic epics like Beowulf to religious chronicles like Bede to intimate poetic fragments in the Exeter books. The conclusion is, so why you should know this? Like, look, you might think all English literature is just a bunch of dudes grunting in the dark, but no, it's very rich. It's raw because in a world obsessed with the filter, the stacks remind us of our origin originally. Naturally, they show us what it means to be human before everything, and they show us that even in the darker centuries, people still ask, what is truth, what is good, what is beautiful, and I answer with only one word with poetry. So yes, life expectancy was low. That was ordinary, and this kind of world storytelling wasn't an entertainment, but it was very survival. At the end, Old English literature remind us that even in the darkest time, people look for it to both believe in something great about peace and untrue words, and maybe that's what literature is always really about, not just reading or writing, but remembering what makes us human. So that's all from me. Thank you so much for watching. Bye everyone. See you next time.